I'm Allison, this is Jeff. We're with Hudson Valley Cold Pressed Oils. We are all family owned and operated. We're in Pleasant Valley, and our main function is that we produce sunflower oil. Take the sunflower oil after we cold press it, and we mill the remaining meal into a high protein, gluten-free baking flour. So we're almost essentially a non-waste product. We're trying to figure out the rest of the stuff, but we also make products from those products. So in addition to the cold pressed sunflower oil, we make truffle sunflower oil, which is a collaboration with another New York company called the Truffless. We also make gluten-free baking mixes with the flour, and also from the oil are skincare products because it's very high in vitamin E.
First started, we were strictly doing farmers markets, trying to get ourselves out there. We're very excited. We've just recently picked up two food distributors. So that's one area where we just couldn't get it to all the people that wanted our products, and we're very excited to be working with them. You know, it's a lot to take on at one point or at one time, and with the restaurants not really being at full capacity right now, we're looking at a slow incremental growth with all of them.
We started out with directing ourselves more when we first started to restaurants because it's cooking oil. So that was our direction when we first started, that and retail stores for the average consumer to buy it for their house. Since COVID, things kind of redirected a lot. So with COVID happening, we went from a good amount of restaurant sales into more retail stores, which I'm so thankful that a lot of the small mom and pop retail stores, like small grocery stores, really did well during the pandemic. And that's really kind of where we turned the restaurant business into the retail business. And then because we weren't doing any farmers markets anymore, we stopped doing the farmers market when the pandemic started. All of the areas that we did farmers markets started to really heavily order online. So that kind of changed a lot for us too. Our online sales has significantly increased this particular year.
So for our we're most well known probably for our sunflower fields being open to the public, and had no idea the impact it was going to have. If you were coming from the Poughkeepsie side, you came over the hill, and all of a sudden there was 10 acres of sunflowers. You'd hear people slamming on the brakes and pulling over to the side of the road, and people just taking pictures. So from there, we thought, how can we make it more available and safer for the public to enjoy? And that's when we decided, to plant certain acreage on our farm every year. The first year was, very successful. Lots of people, everybody was happy. It truly is the only place everybody's happy there. And since then we've grown. This year we grew 16 acres on 2 different fields to expand the experience. The first year we had 7 days open to the public, and this year I believe we had 18 days. There was no admission to get in, and there never is. And we had people that came back 6, 7, 10 times just because they felt safe and comfortable, and it was a beautiful, happy place to be. And people seem to really need that this year.
Well, family owned and operated, we have dogs too. I'm gonna say one thing about the original field that we had that started all this. That was a crazy year because I think we realized it because we have to pass that road to get to the farm often. So we would notice all the cars that were pulled to the side. And then the next thing we started to notice was the social media about it. All of a sudden, our field was all over social media, and we're like, what is going on? And then we realized how many people were actually stopping and, you know, to go into the field, which we were trying to stop that from happening, because at that point we didn't have a designated field for the public. This was our production field. And but then we decided, you know, to try and help people to stop going into the sunflower field at that location. We started bringing sample bottles of oil with our label on them, just so people understood what we were doing. And we would sit, and you would talk for hours. He would go to the field, and he and your father, right, and Kevin, and we'd all kind of take our turns and go there and talk to people. And we'd hand out these bottles to sit and say, take this, try it, cook with it, but this is what we're doing here.
I think a great part about it is people come for the sunflowers, for pictures, to see it, to enjoy it, and then they get to understand what we do with the sunflowers.
One thing that we love to do in the summertime is when the sunflowers are in bloom, we invite the public to the fields to come and enjoy the fields, and they can pick their own. And we usually, actually, we always donate a portion of the proceeds of those events to a local charity. Most recently was Sparrow's Nest. We have an event coming up this Saturday, that's December the 12th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it'll be on rain or shine. Decided to do this because normally this time of year, there's a lot more events, holiday markets and stuff going on for people to do their holiday shopping. And a lot of the major ones were canceled due to COVID. So we discussed it, and we said, why don't we open up the farm to local producers and vendors, give them an opportunity to expose their company to the public, give people a safe place to shop. So that's why we are doing this.
It's amazing what Dutchess County has been tourism-wise. I'm born and raised in Poughkeepsie, and you know, everything from the mansions to the culinary, and then in the fall with the foliage, you know, we get a tremendous amount of traffic through the area. And this year has been tough for tourism. And we saw a tremendous uptick this year in people coming from New York City. You know, we've always been a locals, you know, the locals would come. This year we had a lot of people from Manhattan and Staten Island and Brooklyn and New Jersey, Pennsylvania. So we're starting to see a larger influx of people from, you know, farther and farther away this year. And I think that's only going to increase.